They stick. I have to keep dislodging myself.
It's October. It's meant to be cold.
And yet it's 80-something degrees. It's bullshit.
I didn't mean to take that photo. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna switch my Pokemon back to where they were. You were here. You're a girl? Huh, okay. I thought you had a lucky egg. Maybe give it back. Because that takes so long to evolve.
Yep.
Anyway, where to?
Oh, you're done with all the collecting. You have to actually finish the swords off now.
Alright.
So it depends on which one you want to do first.
I did this one in Scarlet first. I'll do the Elite Four to mix it up.
Fair enough.
Unless are those the only two options?
No, there's also the fucking Pop Legends.
I'll do this one. Alright. And I am going to walk. Because I like stalling.
Then you kind of want to trade a little bit more.
Yeah. See what other... Who are you?
Venomoth.
Wow, caught you off guard.
Otherwise known as the most forgettable bug Pokemon in Gen 1. That's not a joke. Even its pre-evolution Venonat's more recognizable.
Damn.
Like, Venomoth is more well known for the fact that people feel like it should be the Pokemon Caterpie evolves into than anything else.
You know, you say forgettable Pokemon in Gen 1, that can apply to a lot.
I said bug Pokemon in Gen 1. And no, well, every other Gen 1 bug Pokemon is actually very recognizable.
Reward. 10 crystals.
There's the Butterfree line, the fucking Beedrill line. There's the Pinsir, I'd say line, but it's just Pinsir. And Sceptile.
Sceptile was Gen 3.
No, it wasn't.
Sceptile. The starter?
Oh, wait, yeah. No, I'm fucking... I mean, Cypher.
Scyther is the one, yeah.
God, sometimes my fucking wires get crossed. Hard.
Dude.
It's right there, too. I really should be not fucking up. The thing is, I was thinking that I think that you want to know the main reason I can sometimes swap it out.
Why?
They're both green bladed Pokemon that have names that start with S. Because Sceptile's signature move is Leaf Blade. And Cypher's literally has Leaf Blades.
Damn. Quick, now name all 1,000 Pokemon from memory.
Hell no.
I'm joking.
Yeah, Venomoth I think was the last of the line. There was only like 5 evolutionary lines for bug Pokemon in Gen 1.
Dragon Rush.
I think. Oh! Parasect.
Oh yeah.
I tend to forget that one's also bug because it looks grass. And while the fact that I forgot it technically makes it more forgettable, the fact of the matter is, there's no one in the world who's going to remember Venomoth over Parasect. And you want to know why? Because anyone who's ever played Legends Arceus knows how...
Not out yet.
Yeah, I said Legends Arceus. Knows how much of a fucking menace the Parasect line are. Have you ever been chased by Parasect halfway across the map because it won't fucking leave you alone?
Die. Every time I called GameStop, the pre-automated message was, are you excited for the new Pokemon Legends ZA? I'm broke. Well, if I were to get another Switch 2 game apart from Donkey Kong, it'd probably be that.
I feel bad for the bug type in Gen 1 though. Gen 1 was not fun for the bug type, it sucked. its best move was like fucking. It was, I want to say Twin Needle. That wasn't even a good move.
Yeah. Oh, you know what
It wasn't until like Heracross got Mega Horn that Bug Pokemon got a strong move, and even then, that was exclusive to Heracross for a while.
You know what I remember we were talking about once?
What?
I tried to find a clip of it so I could send it to you, but I couldn't. We said something like, if Danganronpa got a new game before Ace Attorney, that would be insulting.
And it was.
It was, and it is.
So, Capcom, the fuck, dude?
You let the funny bear come back before the funny.
And not even the good funny bear. At least Freddy Fazbear has like some fun lore to him.
You let the funny bear that makes bear puns come back. With it, but not the funny lawyer. Before the funny lawyer. And I know the other funny bear that makes bear puns is coming back.
Voiced by the same guy.
Voiced by...
Unless they recast them, they could.
They will recast Teddy.
Probably.
Because they're recasting everyone. Remember?
Yeah.
That's what they did for Reload. They're doing it again for Revival. Whether people like it or not. That's gonna be weird to hear.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Atlas will do anything but make Persona 6. And they very recently once again said, no, FemC is not coming to Reload. Shut up.
Why is this on the FNAF subreddit?
Because what?
Markiplier's...
Because Markiplier is FNAF.
I guess.
Ponyard. Linked it. Yeah. Oh, I don't have Buizel? Buizel?
Weasel.
Like Bowie and Weasel? Damn, that is...
So, what's your opinion on God David?
Who?
I think it's telling which one knows what God David means. Which one somehow managed to fall themselves deeper into that FNAF rabbit hole.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a theory.
Oh. A game theory?
No.
Okay.
But also kind of, yeah. It's essentially expansion of that whole Gregory's a robot theory, but it's...
Oh my god.
But it's actually taking into consideration the logistics of what the fuck's actually going on in the universe.
Not everyone is a robot.
He's not a robot, but he is being mind-controlled by an AI.
Oh, what's one?
And we actually have proof as to how that could happen.
How?
Hop wanted to.
How?
The Vanny Mask. It implants chips into people.
Hmm. I remember MatPat was so insistent on Vanessa from the movies being a robot.
No, Vanessa in the movies is just taking Mike's spot. I've fallen really deep into the FNAF rabbit hole, I'm gonna be upfront. So how the movie works is that it's meant to... Just like how the books are meant to not be canon, but also meant to inform you how this world kind of works. The movies are also meant to inform you in that same way. The implication of how Vanessa's relationship with William works is meant to kind of imply things about Michael's relationship with William. With the implication being here that he's not entirely innocent of like what happened in between him accidentally giving his brother a lobotomy that ended up with death, and him accidentally being gutted like a fish.
Accidentally.
Well, accidentally on purpose. The accidental part is that he had no idea that this was going to happen, but everyone else around him definitely knew it was going to happen.
Oh my god.
Essentially implying that the reason Mike had been going around during the before becoming a zombie parts to the FNAF locations is because he was actively helping his dad cover shit up. And that also, William is very much an abusive dad.
I mean,
we could have guessed that, but there's a lot of people who like to think of William as a good man, even though he is what? A whole elementary school worth of children down the drain of a serial killer?
We can forgive him, though. I can fix him.
As a reminder, one of the most popular webcomics revolving around William was made by a woman who was actively shipping the child that she was drawing, constantly interacting with William.
Okay.
William Afton fans are not good.
You say. You don't. If Junko Nishima says, I always come back in 2x2, I'm downing an entire bottle of water in one sitting.
Light work, I did that earlier today. Granted, it was a bottle of water.
A big bottle of water.
And it was,
Anyways.
The idea of God David is probably literally just, Fiona is actively working, kind of actively, maybe, with William, to try and recreate her son, and Gregory's just the latest attempt. It failed.
Gregory is not a robot.
Gregory's not a robot, but he was being mind controlled. Was the idea. And the reasons David and Crying Child have so many similarities is that William was actively, essentially, putting him on the same life path to try and recreate whatever happened with the Mimic.
This is so stupid.
Hey, this is what happens when your entire lore is based off of retconning itself.
Okay, true.
It doesn't help that Security Breach is like a weird case where the lore is not really working out how it's meant to. You wanna know why?
Why?
We know this from an interview with Daco.
Oh yeah, I know about this.
Yeah. That Security Breach had a bunch of Easter eggs put in where they needed to be on purpose, like for the lead up to the storyline of the Mimic. But then Steelwool misunderstood shit and put different meanings onto the stuff that they did put in there that Scott didn't mean to put in there. Which is why so much of this stuff essentially coincides with the Aftons in Security Breach, but it becomes very clear after Secret of the Mimic that it was actually meant to be about, well, that family. The fucking... what? Murray family, the Murray family.
This is a bug type I'm fighting?
Seal.
Lord's Dead Seal.
Fire.
FNAF lore.
Yeah, the GT Live channel made an entire reaction to T-Dread's God David theory. Actually, it's kind of funny. It's actually a very well thought out theory, especially because he's constantly having to bring up how everyone around him thinks that's bullshit, even though there's enough proof to the idea that that was the intention the entire time.
I remember MatPat's excuse for saying Vanessa was a robot was the acting was robotic for Vanessa
I'm sorry, that's just bad game design.
in the movies.
Oh, in the movies? That's just the fact that it's a cheap horror film.
And he was like, no, she's a good actor. I think the director was intentionally telling her to act like a robot.
I'm sorry, but there's just sometimes it's just a case of a bad director. You know that, right?
But we literally see her in the hospital at the end of the movie.
Yeah. There's a reason why most of the theorizing in FNAF that actually takes place nowadays actually has basically nothing to do with game theory.
Yeah.
Because after MatPat left, basically everyone just stopped paying attention to those guys. Like when it came to FNAF. Because there are a bunch of theorizers currently going around who are basically keeping that spirit alive. Like Withered Circle and his fucking FNAF lot theory.
FNAF Lot? Lot.
Okay, so technically this is basically an extension of a different theory called FNAF Burger. It sounds stupid, but it's actually realistic. So what happens here is, we know thanks to a bunch of games from Security Breach and Ruin, and also the MCM existence, that the area where the Megapixelplex is on, it has basically been an area that's been built over multiple times. And has had multiple sinkhole incidents, right?
Yeah.
First was MCM back in like the 70s. Then it got torn down, and like the bunker area underneath it got transformed into the sister location area.
I didn't mean to do that one.
And from there, it's meant to imply that basically every major location in FNAF has been in this one spot, essentially.
The FNAF spot.
Yeah, like the area right outside Hurricane, Utah, that has a lake that's meant to also be the area where the Afton family lives. And the Murray family lived.
Interesting.
And there is proof to the idea that basically this one area has things from every other like fucking like major site from a location from a game. For examples, like I mentioned, the MCM and Secret of the Nook, but like the underground area became the bunker for sister location. The area right above sister location in Help Wanted 2 shows off the remnants of the FNAF 2 location in there. FNAF 3 was potentially built on an area, but that's probably the one that has the least proof of it. But what we do know is that the Megapixelplex is at the very top, and below that is the fucking Pizza Simulator Pizzeria, which is how this whole bullshit even started. And below that was the ruins of MCM, but like below that, below the pizza simulation location and above the MCM was the labyrinth of walls and sounds that like you trap the animatronics from FNAF 6 in. And there's enough like circumstantial evidence to the idea that the last locations in this franchise are basically in this one area, with FNAF Burger implying that it was all literally this one spot, while FNAF Lot implies that it's basically all been in this one town area. By expanding it, by showing that like the lake is the lake shown up in Curse of Dreadbear from
Help Wanted.
Yeah. The Hurricane Utah area is almost certainly where like the original housing for FNAF 4 was, along with the Freddy's, the Fredbears that was shown off. That Fredbears almost certainly became Freddy's from FNAF 2, and FNAF 1 is in that area, and that became and that area around basically becomes the fucking location where they find Springtrap.
Interesting.
I explained it terribly, but there is enough evidence to the idea that the mainline FNAF games have all been taking place in like a giant radius of this one spot.
The most unrealistic part of FNAF is how Fazbear Entertainment stays in business.
Actually, that's the most realistic part. You want to know how?
How?
They've been literally covering up everything. With the exception of the Bite of 83, the Bite of 87, and the missing children's incident, for the most part, they've managed to keep quiet on everything else. And as much as insane as it is to say, shady-ass businesses that are willing to get rid of their competitors literally very much exist in the modern day. And I do mean that literally, by the way. There's enough hints to the idea that William Afton may or may not have actually been stuck in there for 30 years.
Yeah.
By that I mean, there's a decent chance that he wasn't actually stuck in there for 30 years, and it had only been a few years, actually. And the reasoning being that his body has not decayed that much. Like, it's decayed, and in the 6 months time span of FNAF 3 to FNAF 6, you see that he's lost significantly more of his body. Implying that he's not actually been there a long time, and people have misconstrued some things about it, especially because there is, like, evidence to the idea that Afton might have been around leading the company and actively doing shit for them. And that might be why they've been actively hiding shit that he's been doing. But yeah, there's been more and more people coming out of the woodwork saying that there's a higher chance that he wasn't actually stuck there for 30 years. And people just mistook some lines.
He was stuck there for 31. That's a joke.
Yeah. Just by rate of decay alone, it probably should have been given the takeaway, especially because it was in a broken down area where water was leaking in. But if it really was 30 years, there should have been no body. Especially because we know for a fact that, like, in the span of a couple of years, the MCI kids' body went up missing inside those robots. And while there are people arguing that Fazbear Entertainment literally got rid of the bodies, there's enough like statements from everything to imply that the bodies were literally stuck in there and never got found. And we clearly see by like FNAF 2 that the bodies are gone.
Witherbone doesn't have a face.
No, I'm talking about like Foxy has literally holes in his body.
Yeah.
We don't see any corpse in there, implying that the bodies have decayed to the point where they're just straight up gone.
Well, but that is just a theory. What type is this?
Hell,
normal?
One of the most well-regarded, that is... Yeah, I didn't have normal.
No, I'll just fight with me, that's whatever.
One of the most well-known aspects of the lore in recent years, thanks to Help Wanted 2, has basically come up so in question. And the newest book is basically outright stating that, yeah, that it's not true anymore. And that's, quick question. When do you think Charlie died?
For FNAF... After FNAF 4... Before 2?
Okay. And another quick question. Who do you think died first, the MCI or Charlie?
Probably MCI.
Okay, good. So, here's the things. Help Wanted 2 basically states that yes, Charlie was the last one to die. People didn't like that because, well, give life. Completely ignoring that the implication nowadays is that like she brought the spirits to the location where their body is, and that's what technically gave them life because it awoke them. Because we now know how the FNAF afterlife works thanks to the books.
Yeah.
But like it's confirmed through this most recent book that Charlie almost certainly died in 1987. And in fact, the quote unquote call where it's like any rumors about something going on outside was almost certainly about Charlie, because the most recent book has this UV light stuff, and it shows on a certain page it shows the like a rendition of that 8-bit image of her like standing outside the window. And this is meant to be like a handbook from like the FNAF 1 location, like post FNAF 2. And the stuff that's around there includes like the Chica from FNAF 2's bib, where it says "Let's Party." So the implication is that like Charlie not only died in 1987 and was not only the last of the quote unquote MCI children die, even though she's not really part of them, she's just kind of connected them. But she straight up died during 2. And that's what led them to go insane. And if you're wondering how that accounts for the puppet, it's kind of implied nowadays that like the reason the puppet was always so weird was straight up mimic shit. But like it did eventually get possessed, obviously.
Eventually.
Yeah. Also, there's implications to the idea that FNAF 1 takes place in like 2003 nowadays.
Damn.
Which both implies that Fazbear Entertainment very much horrifically underpays its workers. Which, to be fair, that's believable. And it implies that like Freddy has been around for a lot longer, which actually kind of coincides with the movie, because in the movie the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 take place in 2000.
Yeah. Is Fazbear Entertainment the shittiest corporation in fiction?
Absolutely. Nah. There's actually worse.
Oh, Speech Academy?
No, here's one. The fucking corporation from, I want to call it Outworld. Basically, it was like this Xbox era game where like you're playing as the main character who's been effectively slave its entire life to this one corporation, and is being given the chance by his like the spirits of his ancestors to try and save his race, because his race are about to be turned into like food.
Damn. That's okay.
That ain't even getting into cyberpunk. Fazbear is just comically evil, but it's very much a regular thing for. It's just that they exist in a world where possessions and ghosts are very much a real thing. In the real world, their position would basically be considered like Coca-Cola in how evil they are.
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola definitely killed people.
Damn. That's a big damn from me.
It doesn't even have to be like physically kill them, but like just the amount of like wells they've poisoned over the years, just siphoning water off of like villages and stuff like that, is actually ridiculous. Now you might be wondering why I'm drinking Coke. It's because at this point in time, all corporations are so evil that if you completely opt out from moral panic, well, I'm sorry to say this, but what the fuck are you going to do? Nintendo, for example, is so litigious that it will literally sue fans for trying to keep a game alive, that's not the sign of a good moral company, and it's still one of the better companies out there.
Okay, funny story.
In fact, just about every major Japanese corporation has at least some ties to to criminal elements because of the Yakuzas. Sega definitely does.
Like, well,
did. I'm pretty sure, in recent years, they've cut out most of those criminal elements from their companies, but yeah.
They made Yakuza.
Yeah.
The game. Like a Dragon now, I guess.
Yeah.
Wanna make it?
But there's enough stories of, them literally, working, with Yakuzas in the past. Not for intimidation, but, for protection purposes. They've had to pay off the Yakuza before.
I was gonna say, I was talking with some people. We were talking about Ace Attorney and our favorite cases. Someone said, I really like Game 3, Case 2, the Mask-to-Mask one, because I really like Phantom Thieves. And I was like, boy, do I have the game for you. And it was like, I play Persona 5. Alright.
You should have hit him with, I didn't mean that one.
Yeah.
Persona 4, the Naruto Social Link.
I was gonna say Persona 3, but...
No, because of the Phantom Thief.
Yeah. The Phantom Thief. I can't believe there's a Persona 5 reference in Persona 4. That's a joke. Also, Ditto. Imposter. Fuck.
I think I'm gonna send you a couple of my favorite FNAF theories later on, just to see, try and understand some of them.
Alright.
The two ones I brought up are definitely gonna be some of the ones sent off. And if you're wondering if they're all gonna work together, no, because quite literally, everyone has different ideas as to how shit works. There are some people who believe the crying child was named Cassidy.
No. Isn't Cassidy Golden Freddy?
We don't even know if that Cassidy is actually canon.
Damn.
And the sad part is, some people would rather have that than the current idea as to what the crying child's name actually is. What do you think the crying child is currently named by the community?
Carl.
David Afton.
Damn it.
Because there is some evidence to the idea that the crying child's also named David.
This is so dumb.
Which is why God David exists.
This is so dumb. I got Ditto.
As an example of how weird some theories get, someone tossed out the idea that, at one point the original 4 animatronics were all spring lock suits.
Or not.
And, it was shut down by comments, but, eventually, but, yeah, people are tossing everything at the wall. What do you think FNAF World is now?
Fucking a game made by Fazbear Entertainment to please the kiddies.
No, the general consensus for the community is now that it's purgatory, and it's specifically meant to, like, be based off of the crying child's brain, and the ending is basically setting up Happiest Day.
That's... Why are these theories getting stupider and stupider?
The sad part is this one has that's probably the most generally accepted consensus as to what that game is.
A mistake.
The mini games in that game literally are setting up Happiest Day. With the random spot that the game ends on, implied to be believed to be by some people to be the that fucking I don't know what it called, clod of dirt that's shown in the Midnight Motorist minigame. You know, the one where people believe the crime child might have been buried.
Yeah.
That game, that Midnight Motorist minigame is probably the biggest case of it's up to your fucking interpretation, because this is some bullshit.
Yeah. We're here. First.
Honestly, I think the most generally well accepted FNAF heroes currently out there is probably Rye Toast. He's like the most popular one currently out there. That or Doctor, I think.
Right, Toast?
It's one of the ones I generally watch.
Grassy terrain. Damn. Wow. Oh. Let's sell junk. I recently found out you could bulk sell. I don't know how I lived this long without knowing. 2,000. Okay. Sure, let's get 10 full restores. You never have enough orchid balls. Or quick balls. Alright. I'm gonna grab a snack and then I'll be right back. Bye.